Hey, I know, I'm late. Sorry. Almost done. There! Okay.
I thought I was the scatterbrain. What are you doing anyway? We gotta make our mandatory content.
Just monitoring a simulation, and you are the scatterbrain. No shush, boy.
Boy. Come on, we got work to do. I mean, what else are we gonna do up here? In space.
I love you, babe. Okay, just give me a second to get centered. Hi, friends! It's time for another episode of Elaine Explains. Today's question comes from Arthur Callahan from Coulter in Colorado. Arthur asks, I've heard you guys talk about something called the GC. What is that and what does it do? Awesome question, Arthur. The GC, or gravity centrifuge, is one of 10 modules on the Atomos. It's also a brand new machine GSEC has installed for our trip to Saturn. So, what is the GC? One of the biggest issues with space travel, particularly long-term space travel like this, is the lack of gravity. Well, actually, the lack of gravity is quite possibly the best part of space travel. Anyone who's done it can attest to that. Being able to fly around like a superhuman might be the one thing that hasn't gotten old for me, no matter how much experience I have in space. Actually, there is one other thing that hasn't gotten old up here, but that's a bit private, so to speak.
Ooh.
Shisha. It's so much fun. The flying, that is. Not to mention that when at rest, any position is perfectly comfortable. It's not like on Earth, where when standing or sitting or sleeping, gravity is pulling you downwards. There's none of that pull in 0G, so you're basically just lazing about whenever you're not moving, like lying in a bed made of air at all times. Someone once said long ago, being in space is the ultimate in lazy living. They were right. Unfortunately, like most things that are awesome, living in 0G for long periods of time can lead to some serious health issues, like a loss of bone density, muscle atrophy, circulatory system, and vision problems. Now, many of you may be thinking, I thought you clones were all genetically enhanced. Shouldn't real human problems like that not affect you? Although it is true that yes, all of these issues do affect us considerably less than naturally born people, unfortunately they do nonetheless still somewhat negatively affect those of us who spend enough time in 0G. Also, we need to figure out these kinds of technologies or ways to overcome the dangers of space travel regardless of clone genetics. GSEC's goal isn't to keep space travel accessible only to clones. Everything we do is for all human beings, you sasspots. JK, you guys aren't sasspots. This trip is the first time any kind of gravity centrifuge will be used in actual practice. But you aren't the first people to travel super far from Earth, I hear you saying? Indeed, we do have a crew on Europa right now, exploring its subsurface ocean and speculating possible future base locations. However, Ben and I are traveling more than twice the distance from Earth and Jupiter's moons. Not to mention, we will be spending much more time in our respective moons than anybody has on any Europa tour thus far. A GC hasn't really been necessary until this trip. So, how does the GC work? In theory, shockingly simple. Basically, you take a person, strap them into a harness, put that harness in a big cylinder, and spin it. The force it creates in spinning pulls them downward, mimicking gravity. To get the desired amount of simulated gravity, you just have to spin the cylinder at a constant speed. Turn that speed up or down, you get a different simulated gravity. In theory. It is important that the cylinder spins at a constant rate for it all to work, though. How do you know how fast to spin the GC to get an approximation of Earth's gravity? Why, thank you for that wonderful question. That depends on the size of the machine. Our GC has a radius of 30 meters. That's 90 feet. To spare you the math, our cylinder needs to spin at about 5 revolutions per minute to simulate Earth's gravity. That's a full spin 5 times for every minute. One of the most relevant issues with GCs is something called distribution of force. In relation to a GC, what this means is due to our GC's smaller size, while in the machine, the amount of force being pulled on our heads is less than the amount of force being pulled on our feet. This difference, in theory, may cause some issues in terms of its ability to function properly as an artificial reproduction of gravity, as the gravitational forces on Earth are much more evenly distributed. Imagine you have a bunch of little weights tied all around your body to keep you weighed down. On Earth, it would be as though all the weights pulling you down are evenly distributed about your body, keeping you equally pinned down to the planet. In an artificial gravity machine, however, those weights wouldn't be evenly distributed. The amount of pull on our heads is less than the amount of pull on our feet. This is where it can get a little complex. So luckily for y'all, I've prepared a fun little thing here to help teach everybody.
Beep, 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 beep. Hey, hi there, hey, how are you? Hey, I'm hijacking this episode. Apparently, these things need to be at least 10 minutes in length, so I'm going to help you stretch it out.
But my little lecture would put us at about 10 minutes.
Just trust me, okay? Okay. Admission time. I had a headache, and I went to get a capsule, right? Well, I accidentally grabbed one of these stimulants and not the Tylenol.
Ben, I told you I reorganized the medicine cabinet.
I know, I forgot.
My cute little scatterbrained Ben.
Hey, I'm not scatterbrained. I just do more computations simultaneously than most, and sometimes wires get crossed, and it seems like I'm scatterbrained, but I'm really not. I'm just temporarily forgetful.
Computations? What are you, a robot?
God, if only. That's not the point right now. Anyway, I'm all revved up. Let's have some fun. I mean, what should we do? Let's do an impromptu interview. People want more of that off-the-cuff stuff nowadays. Every week you teach these wonderful, I'm sure, people something fun about space and physics, but they hardly know anything about you.
Nobody wants to know about me.
Bullshit! Okay, what to talk about? Let me see that tablet real quick. Okay, where's the comments section? Okay, there. Cool. So, we get asked a lot about our training and education. There seems to be a bit of confusion in regard to whether or not we get to choose what we major in. It's kind of a weird thing to ask. We all basically just do a double major in our version of college. One subject is in relation to what we are going to do for GSEC. The other is whatever we want to major in, like any student on any mainland college. I studied history with an emphasis on the 1990s through the 2030s. What did you major in, Elaine?
Are we really doing this?
Yes. I'll make it up to you later.
Alright, I'm gonna hold you to that. So, my GSEC major was in theoretical astrobiology. I was chosen at a young age for the Enceladus mission, and the main point of my mission is exploring its subsurface ocean for life. My other major was in philosophy, with an emphasis in epistemology. And epistemology is the study of...
Wait. It says here we should avoid making these videos more than 10 minutes in length. Sorry, bye.
Anyway, before all that, we were talking about the potential issues with the efficacy of the GC. I guess we don't have time for my lecture on distribution of force anymore, so what it boils down to is that we think this issue may prevent the GC from performing perfectly. We may not need perfection, however. As long as it can combat the negative aspects of zero gravity within a tolerable level, it should be able to do the job, so to speak. But until we carry out this experiment in full, we just can't really say, unfortunately. Theoretically, if we built a GC big enough, that could spin fast enough, we could eliminate the whole distribution of force problem. But we don't have the means or resources to be able to make something that gigantic. At least not yet. Personally, I hope it does work. If only for the fact that on a trip as long as ours, even with modern technology and our genetic enhancements, the Earth reacclimatization process for Ben and me without a GC assist will take about 3 months, as opposed to just 1 week if it does work. In conclusion, the concept of a gravity centrifuge has been around for more than 100 years, but until now, no one's been able to actually test one. We're flying blind, in other words. But that's what we do at GSEC. We fly blind so everyone else can see. Thanks for tuning in, friends. Next time, Ben will be answering some of the more often asked questions about clones.